All right, everybody, good afternoon. Again, this is Paul Pennell with Urban Design Partners. We are here tonight to discuss the Langtree mixed-use zoning petition located in the town of Mooresville. This is zoning petition 732147 for PDC Land Acquisitions, LLC. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We greatly appreciate everyone registering and attending the meeting tonight, taking some time out of your Thursday night to join us for this petition discussion and to give us the opportunity to answer any questions you all may have. That's greatly appreciated. So what you're seeing here on your screen now is just a screenshot of the existing site. We'll go over a slide here in just a moment, illustrating in better contextual detail where this zoning petition is located. But just wanted to provide you a picture of what the site looks like today here. Just a little bit of housekeeping. You will have an opportunity at the end of the meeting to voice some questions if you have any. But in the meantime, while we're going through the presentation, if you have any questions that are top of mind, on your screen there should be a chat function. We've all gotten quite used to and very familiar with virtual meetings and Zoom calls these days. But if you would like to ask a question via chat, you should be able to do that, and we'll answer each of those at the end of the meeting. Just click on the chat and then type in what your question may be. It will populate, hit enter on your keyboard, and we'll go over any questions that you may have at the end of the presentation. All right, so to provide a little bit of context here for zoning petition 732147, this is a 7-parcel zoning petition. It makes up approximately 17.9 acres, and it is located immediately to the west of Interstate 77, more specifically directly adjacent Alcove Road on the north and south side, both north and south side of Alcove Road. We'll get into some more details here on how these parcels are being configured. But currently what this petition is requesting is a mix of apartment uses, a potential area for future townhomes, very few townhomes, and also a parcel for potential retail and office uses. So that's actually isolated to the south side of Alcove Road, and then the residential portion is located in the larger parcel north of Alcove Road. The site today is zoned RLS, pretty much an existing land use of single family residential. So the existing zoning district is RLS, and what we are requesting here is conditional CM. So that's CCM, so it's conditional corridor mixed use development. Here you can see that the site is pretty much entirely surrounded by CM district. So we're hoping that this zoning petition will kind of bring in line to everything that's in the area. That's a really precedent for everything that this donut hole of RLS is being surrounded by CM here. So also wanted to provide a little bit of context for what the existing land use is here on site, what those are. So the existing land use, single family residential. It's kind of hard to see on the map, but we've got a blow up here of the site, got a little star. Here's the blow up, and single family residential is the existing land use today. The future character and land use map. Again, here's the site down here in this blow up. Today, this is categorized as an employment center, and also it's in the village center overlay. So the character intent of employment center, it's intended to support various types of employment uses, including offices, light production facilities, business incubators, and makerspace, hotels, conference centers, along with supporting retail, restaurants, and services. Commercial producers of retail goods, food and drink is encouraged to have a public-facing shops, test kitchens, tour spaces. Some multifamily residential is appropriate to provide local workforce housing that is integrated into the site plan or in the campus connected to area amenities. Public spaces and walkways should be integrated into larger developments. Warehousing and building trade showrooms are appropriate when configured away from residences. The intent for this area is to have increased connectivity and better pedestrian and bicycle facilities. Commercial headquarters and corporate campuses should be master planned and should include public spaces, pedestrian or bicycle paths, and commercial centers. So really what that says within the character intent is that it is intended here to be a use that is more intense than the existing land use being single family. So what we're proposing here for multifamily apartments, townhomes, and retail offices really falls into this category. Now, let's dig into a little bit about what the village center means. So the character intent of a village center are community destinations that include an integrated mix of commercial, shopping, restaurant services, office, hospitality, and residential uses arranged in a walkable pattern and of scale to serve the broader community. Village centers occur along major roads, at major intersections, and in proximity to interstate exits within or between character areas. The village center services as a destination for the community, and individual specialized retail or restaurant tenants may attract customers from the region. Village centers should be scaled to address the surrounding development context, and at a minimum should include architectural transitions and possibly natural buffers to mitigate impacts on adjacent developments. Connectivity to approximate neighborhoods and developments is preferred. So just again, I'm sure everyone here in this meeting today is certainly familiar with the location and everything that's being built in this area, and also our proximity to the I-77 interchange. Just being in proximity, the town of Mooresville has seen this as an appropriate location for the village center overlay. So design considerations that we have taken a look at as we've moved forward with this project, it's been a number of months now. We've started this process. Well, there was snow on the ground. I can't remember the exact month, but it's been a few months now. We've taken a look at the existing site conditions. The town of Mooresville, in the meantime, has adopted a new unified development ordinance. That has been a process in which we have become familiar with the town's new ordinance. And been working with staff as well in multiple iterations and multiple submittals in the site plan to really land on something that satisfies the character and intent and also the requirements of the Unified Development Ordinance. We'll go through some of those plan iterations here in just a moment. Access requirements. Town of Mooresville has multiple access requirements on site. I believe the town requires 3. We are satisfying it by 2, with also providing a potential future access point as needed in the future one day. We will get into that here in just a bit. The One Mooresville Comprehensive Plan, community input. We have had some meetings with the Wade's Way neighbors months back. Again, that was back when snow was on the ground. Taking a look at residential density and the commercial uses within the mixed use development, making sure that the scale and intensity is appropriate for this particular location. Utilizing the proposed zoning district and following that zoning district criteria here, the village center node, as we just discussed a moment ago, and following those design criteria. Environmental features, we've got some grading that needs to occur on site, and wanting to adhere to specific drainage patterns as they stand today. Traffic impacts. We do have a traffic engineer on board who is studying the traffic impacts and the traffic patterns, and also the intersections that are being studied to better understand the traffic impacts which would occur from this development. Pedestrian safety, incorporating green space and open space on site, as well as amenity areas. So this is just a really long-winded way of saying, as we go through this process, there are multiple factors that we have to take into consideration to make sure that, one, this development works from a jurisdictional perspective. And all this goes to say, making sure that this works for Prestwick's development criteria and their pro forma. So the initial site plan that we worked on, and we're going to go through these pretty quick because there are a number of them. And I want to say that I will alert you all to when we finally do arrive at what is being proposed here. This is not. This was an initial concept that we shared with the town of Mooresville and neighbors. Throughout this process, the intensity of what is being proposed here has remained constant. Again, 315 multifamily apartments, some townhomes, and also retail office space. But we wanted to go through and show everyone the nature of the progression of what's occurred here, and then present to you all the final site plan that has been submitted, and the site plan concept that has been approved by Mooresville. So we have been working with Sunset Cove to the north, Plan North here. That's actually up here on this side on multiple iterations, working with NCDOT, Town of Mooresville on access to Alcove Road. A number of these iterations have all included the inclusion of a new public street on site. This public street originally was contemplated to connect over to Wade's Way, where Wade's Way would actually connect in and actually go through the site and provide a connection over to Alcove Road. That is no longer the case. We can talk about that a little bit when I get to the final site plan, but again, just wanted to show you all some iterations of connectivity and vehicular connectivity on site. Town of Mooresville within the new UDO requires that buildings be located in front along a public street. So each one of these iterations, you're going to see that is a predominant component, creating a nice architectural facade along a public street, a walkable community, a pedestrian walkable community. And you'll see we're getting closer to what the town of Mooresville has approved or has said can move forward, but you can see that this connection to Wade's Way is still a component of the rezoning. Now you can see that from a previous submittal that the connection is no longer there. However, the right-of-way dedication for a potential future connection does remain, but within this zoning petition, what is being proposed here does not include a realignment of Wade's Way and does not include a connection to Wade's Way. I'd like to make that clear just so everyone is aware. And here we have finally arrived at the Town of Mooresville approved conceptual site plan, which has allowed us to move forward with the rezoning process. So this is give everyone some context and some orientation. Actually, you know what? So this is the formalized rezoning site plan. I think it may be easier if we just actually jump over to, let's see, the conditional site plan render, or excuse me, the site plan rendering illustrating the site here, just so everyone's familiar. So we've got proposed public roads off of Alcove Road, and then a proposed right turn public road through the site here. All of it is fronted on is fronted by architectural buildings, 4-story apartments. This is on the north side of Alcove Road. On the south side of Alcove Road, we've got up to, I believe it's 10,500 square feet, plus or minus, of retail uses. Now, on the apartment side, we do have a small portion that will include some retail uses on site. It's very low, 1,500 square foot number, I believe. Along with surface parking, an amenity area in the back, which will be directly adjacent Sunset Cove. There is a right turn in only, a slip lane, essentially, as you described, off of Alcove Road into the site. But the primary access into the apartment site would be this public street 1 off of Alcove Road. I want to jump back here to the intersection locations that are being studied under the TIA. These services are being provided by a design resource group. Currently, right now, we have 5 study areas, 5 study locations for traffic impacts, which may be occurring related to this petition. The first is at Langtree Road and I-77. In fact, both of those interchanges on the east side and the west side are both being studied. The third location is Langtree Road and Alcove Road. And then also the access points directly adjacent Alcove Road accessing the site, just to confirm what type of laneage requirements would be needed at these, meaning, you know, is any sort of widening required along Alcove, turn lanes, as you exit the site on the public street that's being proposed, what type of laneage configuration is going to be necessary here? You know, is it a right turn, a through, 3-lane section? We don't have any definitive answers on this yet. The traffic counts have been taken, and the TIA, the traffic impact analysis, this study, this document is in works now. When we take the next step and start presenting to the town, we'll have more definitive answers on what, if any, traffic mitigation is going to be required based on this proposal. We also wanted to provide an illustrative related to, let me back up here, maybe you all can see my mouse, related to the relationship of the proposed apartment buildings and the existing single-family residential homes along Wade's Way. So what we're about to present is a elevation cross-section illustrating this relationship of the apartment building, the proposed apartment building location, and the single-family home. So this would be a 4-story apartment. This is the 4-story apartment. This is the landscape buffer. This is Wade's Way. This is the cross section of Wade's Way. And then the parcel, the residential home parcel here. So this is approximately 176 feet from the apartment building to the existing single family homes. It's a fairly generous dimension. Also, in addition, there's quite a lot of vegetation that's existing in between those two conditions. Studio Fusion is the architecture firm that has been providing design for the proposed buildings on site. They have prepared some illustrative renderings of what the site would look like. We definitely wanted to incorporate those into this presentations for everyone's benefit and review. That's what you see here. You can see the context and character of the type of buildings that Prestic would be proposing here and building. Also, ample green space and amenity space on site, and it's also a walkable community. Moving forward, so tonight, September 22nd, is our community meeting. Again, thank you everyone for attending. We greatly appreciate everyone's time. October 11th will be planning board, in which we will have the opportunity to present this petition to the Mooresville Planning Board. From there, it will go to the Board of Commissioners on November 7th. That is an estimate. That's at least the date that we believe we will be going to the Board of Commissioners that night. And then we're anticipating a Board of Commissioners decision on November 21st. Again, that is estimated. So these dates may change, they may wiggle, but check online and you'll be able to see when, the progress of this petition as it moves forward through the process. But with that, we're going to go ahead and be able to open it up to questions. Let me jump over to the site plan here so we can have a point of reference. Actually, let me back up. There's one more item I would like to address with everyone. So the economy these days is, we'll call it volatile in the land development industry. So development pro formas are constantly changing, and we're taking a look at efficiencies on site related to building and construction. So the site plan that we currently have, and the site plan that we've currently presented to the town of Mooresville, this is reflective of that. There are currently 4 different building types incorporated into this site plan. We've got a building type here. We've got a separate shorter building type. I believe this one is 250 linear feet. I believe this one is 180 linear feet. This one is 215 linear feet. And then we've got this proposed L building here that's creating a really nice architectural front and sense of arrival on the proposed corner. Now, that's a lot of different buildings to be proposed on site. And in terms of construction and efficiency, Prestwick Development will likely be in discussions very soon with the town and presenting a site plan revision that shows just utilizing the 250-foot linear building on site. 2 building types. It will still be 315 or 314 multifamily units. That is not changing. In doing that, we'll be able to have some construction efficiency on site, which will help for costs. And then also having a larger building type will provide some flexibility in the types of units that are being proposed here on site, including 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units here. So with that, we can go ahead and open it up to any questions that you may have. I see that we do have one in chat. Let me go ahead and address that. Would you please introduce the Zoom participants and the roles? Yes, Bob, we can do that. I apologize. We should have probably gone through introductions very, very early. Again, I think I may have mentioned that I am Paul Pennell with Urban Design Partners. We do have 2 representatives here with Prestwick Partners. That is Chuck Young and Gray Messier. I believe Gray has been in discussions with quite a lot of the neighbors for some time, and I'm sure he's a familiar face and a familiar person. But Chuck, Gray, is there anything that you guys would like to say, or would you like to mention anything?
Sure. Yeah, I actually just put a message in the chat just to clarify that I believe the rezoning petition includes 320 units instead of 314, 15, and we're currently planning 315 units based on the unit mix. But I also want to say I really appreciate everyone's time. I appreciate joining in and everyone's feedback. We spent a lot of time meeting with neighbors and consultants and other things like this. I'm really excited about this plan. I'm sure that concerns, comments, etc. Items.
Gray, I think your connection is a little poor. Chuck, are you available?
Yeah. Let me mute Gray. Hold on one second. If I can. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, just I think Gray was saying we just appreciate everyone's time. We love the community, love this property. Been great working with the city and come up with a good plan, and we're just excited for some feedback and move through the process, and look forward to the outcome of tonight and the rest of the process here. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Chuck. Well, with that, we don't have any additional questions that have been posted in chat. So as best we can, if you would like to unmute yourself to ask a question, please go ahead and do so.
I'll go ahead and take a moment just to introduce myself. Hi,
Krista.
Krista Jordan. I'm a planner with the Town of Mooresville and the Planning and Community Development Department, and have been working with these guys. I'll be the one giving the presentation to the planning board. And the purpose of this meeting, conditional zoning, opens up a conversation. The purpose of this meeting is to get it in front of the area residents, the people who would be most proximate to the development, so that you and the developer can have a conversation about what works or what doesn't work, maybe. In general, staff is here to answer any questions. The public hearing formats have changed just a little, and now there is a public comment option on our website, and there is a requirement to pre-register to speak at the public hearings, both for planning board and for town board. So if you are anticipating coming or are not able to come and want to get your comments heard, just know there's multiple options to do that. And if you have any questions navigating that process or finding those links or knowing the best way, don't be afraid to reach out. My number, I'll put it in the chat, my contact info. Thank you.
Thank you, Krista. Really appreciate it. And thank you for attending tonight. Well, do we have any more questions related to?
Yes.
Oh,
we do.
Okay.
This is Bob Sheehy.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing all right tonight.
All right. Well, just really curious, in watching the progression of your drawings that you've submitted, proposals, from, I guess, early March through today, it appears that the green buffer that on the east side of the property that faces Wade's Way is kind of shrunk. And you've pushed your parking lots right up against that green buffer, as well as one of the largest building there, the 250-foot linear foot building. And I'm a little concerned about that. It's kind of a downhill from where our homes are from where you are. And I want to know, I would like to know if you're planning to do any additional plantings of large trees. And also, as a neighborhood, we would like to see an 8-foot fence between the Prestwick property and Wade's Way. Is that in the plan?
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate your comments. So, and taking a look at let's see here, let's back up just a touch. So one thing I want to alert you to is the scale of the drawings has changed ever so slightly. The green space and the green band that's located on the west and north side of the site and directly adjacent Wade's Way has remained fairly constant in this process. I apologize. I don't know right off the top of my head. Oh, excuse me. I believe it is just over 50 feet. It's been quite wide throughout this whole process. I think it might have been a little bit of an optical illusion in the jump of scale that may have done that. But that's, Bob, that's something that we can work with you and discuss in greater detail online. But that is essentially a tree save area. Based on the UDO, we would need to dig into the type of plantings and the intensity of plantings that would need to be incorporated within this buffer area. But yes, there would be additional plantings that would be going in within the landscape buffer area.
Okay, I'd be very interested in knowing about that before your final submission.
Okay. Bob, and for everyone's benefit on here, you can reach me directly via email at Paul, P-A-U-L, at urbandesignpartners.com. Also, in all of the mailers that we sent out, I think you reached out and contacted us via info@urbandesignpartners.com. So I know you've got most of my contact information. I believe the phone number was also available in the mailers as well. So if you would like to reach out to me directly on any questions that you may have, I'm more than happy to work with you on those. And Bob, also I heard the fence request. We will have a discussion with Prestwick on that, and we will work with you on something that will be amenable to you and the Wade's Way neighbors.
Okay. And just to be clear, I know that I've gotten an email from and talked with Gray, and he said that you've totally given up on any access to Wade's Way between the two apartment buildings on the east end of the property. And I just, so I was under the impression that you needed an emergency exit, a third exit for fire, EMS, whatever, in case the other two were blocked. Is that not true anymore?
So it's just 3 points of access. It's not necessarily for emergency vehicles, but we have been working with the town of Mooresville in the numerous different ways that we can achieve 3 points of access on site. We have been in discussions with Mooresville, and we now all agree that the connection over to Wade's Way is not feasible. And the two connection points that we are showing off of Alcove Road via this slip lane, this right turn into the site, and then also the two new proposed public roads would essentially be adequate for the petition to move forward.
Okay, great.
But yes, in a nutshell, yes, there is no connection currently planned, actual physical connection planned to Wade's Way at this time.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
Certainly.
Hey, Paul, if I could just add to it, we would certainly entertain a connection should that become available in the future, so that where the street kind of dead ends now, we can plan for a future connection. So if that ever presents itself, we can join into it.
That's right, Chuck. The way it's being planned is for maybe one day, maybe one day that connection may happen. And if it were to ever happen, that connection could be made from Wade's Way, but this petition does not include that.
I'll just jump back in. That just to clarify the process, this is the neighborhood meeting ahead of the public hearing. And so as far as what will go to the planning board and probably the town board, this is the plan that will be going forward. Just wanted to make that clarification.
Thank you, Krista.
Absolutely.
This is Bob again. So the drainage for your property, how is that going to work? I mean, it's, since we're downhill from you folks on the east side of your property, I'm rather curious as to how do you plan to control, runoff?
Great question, Bob. So you can actually see on the site plan, we have some what are referred to as SWQ areas, stormwater quality areas. We've got one over here in the retail office parcel. And then we have additional locations that are above ground. So these are essentially ponds that will capture any stormwater runoff that occurs from this development. It will hold that water, retain it. It will let any sediment settle out. And then it will be slowly released over the period of a few days. That's how these will work. We also have an additional underground stormwater detention area back here in this corner. There's a ridge on site where we've got some water running off towards the lake. And then we've got some additional running off. There's a very deep swale area through here, through these trees. So all stormwater runoff on site will be captured prior to it leaving the site, treated, and then slowly released.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly.
Forgive me, this is Bob again. And kind of an unrelated question. What's going on across Alcove Road and that parcel that abuts I-77 and Alcove Road?
So are you referring to what we have so commonly referred to internal as the pork chop parcel?
The pork chop, that's a good name for it, yes.
Okay. So there is additional office and retail uses. This would be making up the mixed use portion of the project. So it's essentially, this parcel is going to be made up of approximately 10,500 square feet of retail and office uses in these two buildings. You can see the building 1 and building 2. Surface parking, quite a lot of green space and tree retention area in between the parcel, the retail uses and Langtree Road here. So it's a rather low intensity retail use here, Bob, is what's being proposed.
Okay, good. I know there was some early talk about putting a Truck Stops America in there or something, which was totally
no truck stop being planned here.
Okay, good.
All right. Do we have any more questions tonight?
Yeah, sorry, this is Bob again. This seems to be hogging the conversation here.
That's okay.
I saw in one of your proposals, you up at the onto the Sunset Cove side of the properties. Does that look like a swimming pool and kind of a recreational area? Is that true?
That is correct. Yes, we have reserved a portion of the property for a community clubhouse, pool, and amenity area. That is correct.
Okay. And that would be just for the residents of the Prestwick community?
I believe the plan is for it to be just reserved for the Prestwood community. Yes, that is correct.
Okay. When do you expect construction to begin?
That's a great question. Chuck, do you have a little bit of clarity on your intent on moving forward here?
Sure. I think once we're through the public process, typically, depending on how quickly drawings move and city municipal approvals happen, we can start anywhere between 6 to say 10 months after that process is done. It's more important than ever that we get really detailed drawings before we go out for pricing. With construction pricing is kind of like watching interest rates nowadays. So you got to get as much detail as possible before you go out. So, you could probably say within hopefully a year after zoning is probably good. Maybe a little quicker, maybe a little later, depending on how the process goes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Any additional questions tonight? All right. Well, and
Hello,
just
I have a question.
oh, go ahead, Michael.
Hey, and we missed the first few minutes. Are you going to share this presentation out? Is there a way we can see? Because we'd love to be able to just, we have a few more minutes to sit down and look at.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. So my office on our website, urbandesignpartners.com, we have, when you go to our website, urbandesignpartners.com, there is a tab that you can click on, and you can see that all of the current rezonings that our office is currently managing. This particular one will be on our website. We're recording this presentation now. We will post this recording in the coming days, maybe as soon as tomorrow. We will also have this presentation posted online and available for download as well. If you would like to access any of this information in the future, we will leave all of that information up throughout the duration of the rezoning process with the town of Mooresville.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Certainly.
Paul, this is Bob again.
Hi, Bob.
Sorry, but I was just looking at your drawing here, and I noticed that there's, I think, 2 of the retention ponds on the east side and on the north side of your property. And I just want to get your definition of a retention pond. How long would the water sit in these ponds?
All right, so now you're getting into some very detailed engineering questions that I may not be able to help you on specifically. So typically these ponds would hold water for a period of, I believe, 3 to 5 days, depending on a multitude of different types of North Carolina engineering requirements on how these ponds are designed. The drainage areas, the amount of detention that's required, the amount of water that they will hold, are all factors in what the drawdown period is for these ponds. So the best I can do at this point is just give you a range based on my previous experience working on projects. But I can't at this time give you specifics, really only because the drawings and the site has not been engineered, and that amount of detail has not been explored just yet.
Sure. What I'm worried about is the gestation of mosquito larvae. How long,
So that's an excellent question, and that is a misnomer. The water within the ponds is not stagnant water. So because the water is drawing down, the mosquito larvae do not grow. That is a common question we get during these meetings, but I assure you that these stormwater ponds are not mosquito-inducing ponds. That's not how they work.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Certainly. All right, well, everyone, it's about 6:15. I would like to go ahead and make a final call if anyone has any additional questions. All right. Oh, hi, Martin.
I was just gonna say, thanks a lot. Good meeting.
Oh, certainly, happy to do it. And again, just want to extend gratitude to everyone here for taking time out of their Thursday night. Really appreciate everyone showing up and having this discussion with us. It's definitely enjoyable to have people show up interested in these types of projects and providing their input. So just wanted to say thank you to everyone one last time. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at paul@urbandesignpartners.com. Again, in the coming days, this presentation and the recording will be posted on our website at urbandesignpartners.com. And it will remain there for the next few weeks while we go through this process with the town of Mooresville. And with that, I want to wish everyone a wonderful Thursday evening and have a great night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.